It was a quiet night in a small town. Rain was falling slowly, and the streets were almost empty. A young man named Ryan was sitting alone in his apartment. Ryan worked late shifts as a graphic designer, so he was used to staying awake. That evening, he had just finished his work and decided to relax. He made a cup of coffee and scrolled through his phone. Everything felt normal, until suddenly his phone started ringing. Ryan looked at the screen. The caller ID made his heart skip a beat. It said, "Michael calling." Ryan froze. Because Michael was his best friend. And Michael had died in a car accident 3 days ago. Ryan stared at the screen in shock. His heart started beating faster. "Maybe it's just a glitch," he whispered. But the phone kept ringing. Finally, with shaking hands, Ryan answered the call. "Hello." For a few seconds, there was only silence. Then a weak voice whispered from the other side, "Ryan, help me." Ryan's blood ran cold. The voice sounded exactly like Michael. "And Michael?" Ryan said nervously. The voice spoke again. "I'm trapped. It's dark. Please come get me." Ryan's hands started shaking. "This isn't funny," Ryan said loudly. "You're dead. I went to your funeral." The voice suddenly became louder. "I'm not dead." The call suddenly ended. Ryan sat there frozen. The room suddenly felt colder. 10 minutes later, the phone rang again. Ryan slowly answered. "This time the voice sounded more desperate, Ryan. They buried me, but I woke up. I'm still here." Ryan felt like he couldn't breathe. "Where are you?" he asked. The voice whispered, "Cold, dark underground." Ryan's mind suddenly realized something terrifying. "Michael, are you in your grave?" For a moment there was silence. Then the voice whispered one word. Yes, the call ended again. Ryan couldn't stop thinking about it. What if Michael had actually been buried alive? Without thinking, Ryan grabbed his jacket and keys. Outside, the rain had become heavier. Thunder echoed in the sky. Ryan drove toward the town cemetery. The road felt longer than usual. The deeper he drove into the forest, the darker everything became. Finally, he reached the cemetery gate. It was nearly 2 a.m. The entire place was silent. Ryan walked slowly between the graves, his flashlight shaking in his hand. He finally reached the grave. The tombstone read, "Michael Carter, 1998 minus 2025. Ryan's heart pounded loudly, then suddenly his phone rang again. Ryan answered immediately. "I'm here. I'm at your grave." The voice whispered weakly, "I can hear you. Please hurry." Ryan dropped to his knees and started digging with his hands. Mud covered his fingers, rain soaked his clothes, but he kept digging. Suddenly, Ryan heard a sound, a faint knocking from inside the coffin. Ryan's heart nearly stopped. "Michael, I'm here," he shouted. The knocking became louder. Ryan dug even faster. Finally, the coffin lid appeared. Ryan quickly opened it. But the moment the lid opened, Ryan screamed. Inside the coffin, there was only bones, a skeleton. Michael had clearly been dead for days. Ryan slowly stepped back in terror. Then suddenly, his phone rang again. Ryan looked down. Michael calling. Ryan slowly answered the phone. The voice whispered softly, but this time, it wasn't Michael. It was something else. Something darker, and it said, "Now it's your turn to stay here." Suddenly, the ground beneath Ryan collapsed, and the grave swallowed him whole.